Good afternoon again, Dr. Kremens here. Going to do another short video here where I just talk very briefly about some aspects of the syllabus. I'm going to mention some of the things that we'll do this week and some of the videos that I'll post here in the first week of classes. So welcome again to the 2021 spring semester here at Harper College. I want to stress before I get any farther with just some of these brief comments, please email me if you have any questions. I've been really happy to meet some of you virtually via email over the last few days after I activated the Blackboard shells last week. So thanks again for those of you that reached out with any questions. It was good to hear from some of you that I haven't seen since December in English 101. It was also fantastic to meet some of you that I have not had in class before. And again, as I said in the last video, I look forward to working with you, all of you, and to reading your papers and to having a great semester. So what I want to do first today is talk a little bit about some of the, 5 things that I want you to keep in mind over the course of the semester. And I'll kind of do these one by one. These are kind of general rules that I like to follow that are sort of summed up in the syllabus, and I'll just go through each one of these briefly. As I said in the last video, I miss my whiteboards in the classroom. I miss having that space to write things out. So last semester at the beginning of 101, I went to the local Target with my mask on, and I got one of these miniature whiteboards, which I guess you would probably more likely use on your dorm room door or something like that. But I thought it'd be nice to have so I could write down some of these ideas since I'm so accustomed to being in a classroom and writing these things on the board. So number one, one thing, if you want to do well in the class and you want to have a great experience and do as well as you can in your papers, the first thing you always want to do whenever I assign something is to read over the directions. The directions are on Blackboard. I'll do another video this week where I walk you through, I'll do a screen share and I'll walk you through the different components of Blackboard. But one thing I want you to always keep in mind is read over those directions. My directions, particularly for paper assignments, are detailed. Some might even say they're too detailed, but when I was an undergraduate, I appreciated that. I wanted to know exactly what was expected of me in my classes, and so I strive to do the same thing with the assignments that I give. So whenever you see that a paper has been assigned, right now paper number 1 is already up on Blackboard, read it over. Take a look at it. It covers pretty much everything you're going to need to know. What kind of font size to use, what kind of margins you need, what the prompt is. Every one of my assignments will also go through MLA citation format, which we're going to do a lot of in the English 102. I do a lot of that in 101 as well, but this is really the focus of this class since we're a research writing course. So all of that's there to help you. In fact, you'll probably notice when you read over my prompts that they do kind of map out even the structure of the paper. Now, typically what I do for all of the assignments, and I'll do this for number 1, is I will give you a sort of suggested outline for the paper. After we're kind of into this first week of classes, I'll post a video explaining how I want you to structure the paper and how you might even develop your thesis statement. And that's in another video that I'll do later this week. But to get started, look at the directions, see what they say. The directions are very specific. I know they might look a little bit long, but they're there to help you. I think of it kind of like a safety net that's going to give you all the information that you need. So read those directions. And then as you're reading the directions, if you have anything on them, if you see something that's not clear to you, ask for help. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. If you just want to send me an email and you want just some quick answers that way, I'll write you back. If you email me between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays, I will get back to you very expediently, very quickly. Because again, I'm working, I'm on my computer all day, and so my goal is always if something comes in between 9 a.m. 5 p.m. then I'm gonna get back to you the same day unless something crazy's happened and I've got some online faculty meetings. In fact, I think I said in the last video, the only day of the week I typically try not to check my work email is on Saturday, so I have a little bit of a break from it. But for the rest of the week, as some of you have probably already realized, I'm very quick about getting back to emails. Now, the other thing to keep in mind in terms of asking me for help or any kind of support that you might need is I'm always happy, as I said before, to do a Zoom meeting with you. So if you want to talk with me about an assignment, if you want to go through a draft with me, I'm always happy to read rough drafts of papers. We can set up a Zoom meeting. We could do a screen share. We can go through the paper together. So please do that. Reach out to me for help. I'm happy to help you. You don't even have to turn your screen on if we're doing a Zoom call. I know for some folks, it's you're not comfortable having somebody see you and your cat or your dog or something, and so you don't have to turn the screen on. That's fine. We can just do it the old-fashioned way by audio over Zoom, and that's not a problem. So anytime you need help, please reach out and ask me. As I said, either every week or every other week, I'll also have optional Zoom check-ins where I have sort of an open office hours, and you can log in with some other students and ask me whatever questions you want, or I'll go through assignments with you, just as I would if I was back in my office in L building on campus at Harper in L235 when I'm in my office hours, and people are welcome to come in and ask me questions. So we'll be doing that too over the course of the semester. So what do I got next on my list here? Number 3. Now this is really critical. Actually, 3 and 4 really do go together. Now with number 3. This is a research writing class. Every paper that we do is going to have sources in it. Now, the first paper, if you have had a chance to take a look at that, you know the only source you're using is the Stuart Dybek story, Farwell, the first one that we're reading. And all of your sources have to be cited. Please do not, as you're writing any of these papers, go online and cut and paste things, rearrange words, rearrange sentences, try to find papers about these topics online and then pass them in as your own. You will not pass the class if that happens. As you probably know, if you've been through 101 in Blackboard, we have programs that can check for plagiarism. I've been teaching for a while, so I'm also usually pretty good at picking up on it. And if I can't find it, then the computer will, or the program in Blackboard will find it. So as I say to all my classes every semester, and as I've said for the last 25 years almost now that I've been teaching, I would rather read a paper of yours that's maybe not your best work, that might need to be revised, which you'll have an opportunity to do, by the way, because we do have revision assignments in the class later on, but that's yours, not that you got from somebody else or that you got online and you spliced together. So please don't do that. I'll be talking more about issues of plagiarism and copying as we go forward, but it's particularly important in English 102 because, again, this is more of a research writing class, and that means that we're using outside sources and citing them for every one of the papers that we do over the course of the semester, including the longer paper that we do at the very end of the term. So please, if you're turning in something, make sure it's your work, and please make sure that it doesn't have anything in it that is not cited. Okay, that's important. And again, I'll talk more about that, but that's serious. And I can't pass you, and you may not pass the class if you're copying stuff and just trying to turn in something that's not yours. So please avoid that. And it kind of ties into the next point on my list here, which may sound a lot like number 2, but where I say here, make sure to contact me if you have any problems or any issues. Every once in a while, I'll have a student, and I think it's maybe made worse, obviously, by these online conditions that we're in, where people fall behind in the class, and for various reasons, and are not able to keep up, but then lose touch with me. If you feel like you're falling behind at all with the work, please contact me immediately. I'll try to help you as best I can. I'll give you suggestions on the papers for all the papers of the class, except for there's one where you'll have a week to do it. But all the other papers that we do over the course of the semester, you have at least 2 weeks to do them. So there's plenty of time. I'll give you plenty of prep. In videos, I'll talk about the structure of the paper. I'll talk about the content of the papers. In fact, if you want to go through my old videos from English 101, if you didn't have me last semester, those are still here on my YouTube page, and you'll kind of see the detail that I go into on the assignments. I'm normally posting at least 2 videos a week, usually more than that at the beginning of the semester. So if you have any problems or you need any help, you have to contact me as soon as you can. It's not the type of class where you can do one assignment at the very beginning and then disappear until the last week of the semester and then want to turn all of your papers in. You're not going to pass the class like that. I simply can't read all of your work from the whole semester at the end. It's not a portfolio-driven class where you turn in everything at once. We have papers due every 2 weeks. On the alternating weeks, most times we'll have a reading quiz once we get into the semester. So you'll always have benchmarks and work to do, and you'll always have the opportunity to ask me for help. But please reach out if you have any problems, if you're, God forbid, having any kind of family emergencies or work emergencies. Let me know as soon as you can so that I can help you and support you as best as I am able to, okay? But if it's getting late in the semester and you haven't been able to turn anything in, that would be the point at which to drop the class. And I want to mention that now because this can happen even in the online environment. I sometimes have that happen during a regular semester where someone sort of disappears and then returns at the midterm or later in the semester. And the way all these assignments work together, you have to do one after the other. They do build on each other, as you're going to see as we go along. And then my last point here is have fun. Now that may sound crazy. You may say, how can I have fun in an English class? I like English. I mean, I was an English major, creative writing major as an undergraduate. As I said in my last video, I'm working on my second book now that I'm co-editing. That'll be out this spring. So I write a lot, enjoy reading, have since I was a kid. But I wasn't always the best writer, and I wasn't always the best reader. I've told that story many times, that I was in the second reading group in grammar school because as I mentioned to a couple students last week, I'm a visual learner for the most part. I'm pretty good auditorily in terms of hearing things and picking up on them, but I'm very visual. And as a little kid, I was sort of more interested and attracted to visual images. I mean, that's why I loved comics as a kid, because I just liked looking at the pictures before I even wanted to read them. So I'm a more visual learner. And so for me as a kid, it was kind of hard adapting to writing and to reading, because I was more interested in visual images, paintings, drawings. So it took me a while to kind of get into the swing of things when I was first learning how to read and write. I'm still not particularly quick as a writer or as a reader, but I keep at it. And so that's why I ask you the same thing I've always asked of myself. Just do the best you can. And if you're running into problems, ask me for help. And I think what you're going to find is a lot of the readings we have here, they're interesting readings. I hope you find them engaging. They all build on each other. There's a lot of through lines and themes that interweave with the readings and the papers that we're going to write. So I hope you find something in these readings that you are excited about, that you're interested in. I want you to find things that spark your imagination and your creativity. And I'm looking forward to reading your papers and to editing them. One thing you're going to find with me is that when I turn papers back, and I always get them back the following week after they've been turned in, I give you a lot of comments, as many as I can. I give you suggestions. Those suggestions are normally geared towards a possible revision of the paper. I'll talk more about that when I get into details on the syllabus. But I want you to have fun. I want you to have a great experience. And I want you to leave this class not only having improved your writing skills, but also having increased your confidence as a writer. Because what I find after having taught now, as I said, for almost a quarter of a century, that a lot of writing problems come more from a lack of confidence. It comes from fear and anxiety more than it comes from a lack of skill. You're all good writers. You made it through 101. You're in 102. You can write. So we're just going to build on the skills that you already have, and we're going to introduce more research writing, engaging with sources, incorporating them, and responding to them, and then citing them correctly, as I said earlier in the video. So let me sum that up in this little video I have here, and then I'm going to do another one in a minute in a separate video on the syllabus. So remember, things to do to be successful in this class. Read the directions. When you read directions over for anything, make sure to ask for help. Please do that, and I'm happy to help and give you suggestions. Do not plagiarize. Do not turn in stuff that is not your own work and then try to pass it off as your own. I don't want to read that. I want to read your writing. That's why you're taking the class. Make sure to ask for help. As I said, if you find yourself getting behind with assignments, contact me immediately, because we want to get you back on track so that you're successful and you get to the end of the semester well. And then lastly, like I said, have fun. I'm really excited to do a lot of these writers. I've taught most of them before, sometimes not the same stories, but Harlan Ellison, Sandra Cisneros, Gwendolyn Brooks we're going to do later on. I might do some more Jamila Woods, those of you that had me in 101. I might do some more of her poems this semester. We've got Otto Binder. We've got a lot of interesting writers. And let me mention just two last things before I sign off and do another video. As you go ahead over the next couple of weeks, also make sure to reach out to your other professors. If you have any questions, we're here to help you. We're here to support you as we get through this semester together. So please don't hesitate to ask for help from your other professors as well this semester. We want you to have the best possible experience you can have, and we're looking forward to working with you. All right, so I'm going to sign off on this video. I'm going to do another one here actually in a couple of minutes where I talk a little bit about the syllabus in a little bit more detail. But as I said, please email me if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.